We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight, as there is a lot to get into around LSU and LSU football. Got media calling out your boy, saying things I didn't say, worrying about AYS. Is what it is. But we do got a lot to talk about. Caleb Williams, reports came out today from Dean Blevis that Caleb Williams has narrowed his two schools down of where he would transfer, the very talented former five-star quarterback, to Oklahoma or to USC or LSU. Not really buying it. Actually, not buying a lot of it, but we'll talk and tell you some things that we're hearing. I'll tell you what it really means to me and what it means to every LSU fan, in my opinion, moving forward. Opinion. Let me very, very much say opinion, because some people take what you say and they run it like it's the gospel sometimes. Even you say opinion 75,862 times. But LSU not only talking and possibly trying to make some moves for a transfer quarterback or someone like Caleb Williams, but the LSU staff does hit the recruiting trail, doing some re-offers, some more offers, doing their evaluation. Probably what took LSU a little bit of time just to make sure they knew who they wanted to target. We'll talk on some LSU recruiting. Hashtag Ask Blake. You have questions, fire them inside the Rudy Crew chat right now, and as the show goes on, we'll get to those questions. Jacob Scott Davis, who covers the Arkansas Razorbacks, broke the story about Kendall Briles returning back to Arkansas. He's been all over this story, good friend of mine. He's been at it from the top and has not missed on one single detail about what Kendall Briles. So as we go around the SEC, now that the regular season is done and we continue to go around around the SEC through the offseason, we'll go to Arkansas first and talk about Kendall Briles and Arkansas Razorbacks. We'll talk about Joe Fuchsia and others, and so it'll be good to have him on. And after that, we'll just go around the SEC if we don't get into it a little bit more, or maybe some LSU baseball, basketball talk. We'll touch on that. Let's get to a couple comments before we get started. Jason Morgan sends us $4.99 via Super Chat on YouTube. He said, heard today that Xavier Carter has a hold on him because his advisor has yet to advise him on what classes to take. They need to tighten up. I had not heard that. Look, what would not surprise me, though, Jason, wouldn't surprise me with this staff. Would not surprise me at all. Roderick Dugas says, Blake, you're wild. Well, don't call me out for stupid stuff, and I didn't even do anything. And don't worry about me. You do you, let me do me. Stay out of my life and out of my business. Derek Cropper says, do you think we get Caleb Williams? So we'll probably talk about that as soon as we get out of the break. That will be the first question and things that we talk about. So let's do that. Let's get to the break. Let's start off the show, and then we'll get started. Let's do this. Everybody on Facebook, there's about 300 plus of you in here already. Do us a favor. I ask you all every time to hit the like button. Hit the like button, hit the share. Everybody do a brother a solid and hit the like button. If you're on Facebook, share to your social media pages, share it to some Facebook groups. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it if you did that. If you're on YouTube, guys, we're about 200 subscribers away, and we got about 11 more days to hit this goal. If we hit 3,000 subscribers, one lucky subscriber is getting $300. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, hit that notification bell as well. If you're already subscribed, you're still going to be in for the drawing. Also, if you refer us to a friend, if you go out and tell your mom, your cousins, your brothers, any LSU fan you know to subscribe, send us a DM of their name, and we'll put your name back into the drawing multiple times. That way you have a chance to win. And hey, $300 is a lot of money, and that's powered by our good friend Carol Foss over at State Farm. Also, if you're listening to us on the audio podcast platform, do us a favor by subscribing there as well, and don't forget to rate us. We would greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's get started. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's pay some bills. We'll get right into Caleb Williams when we come out of the break. None better than our good friends. Talk to Trey Varnado today. We might be, look, it's going to be the coldest. I wanted to make a dad joke, but I'm not going to do it. But literally the coldest day of the year, coldest day in a couple of years coming up this weekend. Might going duck hunting with him. We got to go shoot them ducks, ball. We'll see. We'll see. But talk to him today. Go see him over at GM Varnado and Sons. GM Varnado and Sons if you need any auto repair. Guys, get over to GM Varnado and Sons today. If you need RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales, no job, literally, no job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. Or go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Breakdown on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge, Louisiana, greater Baton Rouge area. They will come and get you as well. That's GM Varnado and Sons, 225-664-9992. Tell them Blake at AYS sent you on by. Our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, I've been telling you about BetOnline for such a long time now. We'll be giving you my NFL playoff bets on the Saturday morning show. If you missed last week on some of the bets we did or all the bets we did last week, we went 5-1. We're continuously making that money. The place that we are going is betonline.ag. Use the Believe 50 AYS podcast app on your first deposit to get that 50% welcome bonus. That's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag. All right, let's get this thing rolling, y'all. We do have some background music I was going to do for the audio, kind of read some intros. Let me know what you guys think about this. I was gonna roll this out. Let me know if you can hear it. I don't even know if you can hear it. We're testing some things. As the new studio's coming about, we're making this thing roll. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be very, very, very awesome. Christopher Brown says it's $4.99 via super chat. He did not ask a question though, but I greatly appreciate him for sending us the $4.99 via super chat. So did Rob Boudreaux. Thank you, Rob, so much for sending us the $4.99 via super chat. But Christopher Brown here says you seem like you know a little bit about Franklin. Shit, I grew up there, dog. I grew up in the Franktown. You heard me? Right there on Parker Street. Don't be playing with your boy. Where I come from, you don't call people names like I got called today from some media members. Just gonna let you know. Just gonna let you know that right now. Sugar Shack, where you at? That is not a paid advertisement from Sugar Shack. All right, let's get into this Caleb Williams thing. I know that a lot of people are asking about it, talking about it. So we'll get into it. We literally, it's all nothing. Everything is about Caleb Williams right now. Lamar Williams says, get Caleb some Cajun cooking. Yeah. Look, he liked LSU when he came down here on his visit. Let me, okay. Voice sounds a little bit muffled. That music messed up the audio. Can y'all hear me better now? Let's see. Always, you can't do anything right around here, bro. Sometimes you just can't do anything right. Let me make sure we're good. All right. Yeah, it does have a little bit of a lag, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is I don't know. I don't know. All right, we're gonna battle through it. We're gonna get better on that too. And Jeremy says you got the Cricket Wireless out there in Franklinton. No, I do not. No, I do not. All right, we'll get to it. That audio did mess us up. Cody says, Blake Ruffino, your mic is going in and out a little bit fuzzy. Yeah, we know. We know. Let's see if we can fix it. Let's see if we can fix it. Let's do it. Give me 20 seconds. Give me 20 seconds. Hold on. All right, let me know if y'all can hear me a little bit better now. No, we can't restart the stream. We can't restart the stream. Let's see. Let's just make sure. Sorry, just hang tight with us. Hang tight. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you're good. If we're better now. All right. Sounds like we're a little bit better. All right. All right. Here we go. Boy. Can't even do it. Now let's get to. Now we can get to Caleb Williams. All right. All right. If you missed the news today, a lot of things have been going around about Caleb Williams. Dean Blevis, who cover or Blevins, excuse me, who covers Oklahoma KWTV, sports director, WWLS, radio, Sooners, Cowboys, Thunder. A lot of Oklahoma fans says, "Oh, Dean doesn't really know what he's talking about," but meanwhile, he's the one that breaks stories about Russell Westbrook and others. He was the one that really the only Oklahoma um, reporter that was talking about Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma. Everybody, I don't know. See, it's not that bad on my side. I don't know. I don't know, guys. We're just gonna have to battle through it. I don't know what to tell you. Um, just stand by. Stand by. All right. We're just really going through it right now. We're really going through it right now. Chris says everything every time you since you played that music, it's been acting up. See, it's fine on my side. It's fine on my side. What do you mean take off? The headphones do nothing. They do nothing. Mm. See, guys, I'm hearing it good on my side. We're just gonna go through it. Sorry, bear with me. Go through it. I don't know. I don't know. All right, we are gonna get to Caleb Williams now. We will get to Caleb Williams now. So let's do this. If you missed it, we were talking about it. Dean Blevins talked about Caleb Williams coming down to his two schools, which are going to be Oklahoma, are going to be USC, and are going to be LSU. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Now, a lot of people are reporting different things. A lot of people are talking about different things. But what I could tell you about Caleb Williams and LSU is this. LSU has reached out to Caleb Williams. There's no questions about the if LSU, Jamar Cain, some of the other Oklahoma's Kerry Cooks with the ties has reached out to Caleb Williams. Now, where that's going, what's going on with that, I don't know. Like, I legitimately do not have an answer to you on what Caleb Williams is thinking or what Caleb Williams is going to do with that. Now, I will say this. A lot of people are questioning if Brian Kelly would accept or want Caleb Williams to come into LSU. And I'm going to tell you this. If you think Jamar Cain or Kerry Cooks or whoever has this relationship with Caleb Williams, did not get the blessing of Brian Kelly to do that, you're outside your mind. You're 100% completely outside your mind if you think or believe that Brian Kelly did not give the go-ahead to do that, because he did. There's not a question about that whatsoever. So let me say, this is the bigger LSU fan. This is the biggest thing for LSU fans I think that you need to know. I don't think the news here is relative or I just don't think that the Caleb Williams news or him possibly thinking about LSU is the news for LSU fans. This is what I think is the biggest thing. The biggest thing for me is that I've been telling you over the last 6 weeks, is that LSU's still searching for a quarterback or will kick the tires on another transfer quarterback. So, like we've been saying for the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks since Brian Kelly has been announced and Max Johnson hit the portal, I fully believe that any quarterback that has the ability, it's working better now. We had to get rid of Twitter. So if you're listening to us on Twitter, I'm sorry about that. We just don't have a choice. But if there is a good quarterback that's going to hit the transfer portal, LSU is going to take a serious look at them. Now, a lot of people will ask, what's going on and about Miles Brennan and what do I think about Miles Brennan or Garrett Nussmeier. Here's what I'm going to say. Brian Kelly has popped in that film. Brian Kelly understands that Miles Brennan is a guy that the last time he played was October of 2020. That's not a shot. That's not a shot at Miles Brennan. Sometimes you have bad luck. Look at Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill had a lot of injuries in college, went into the NFL outside of this season. Hadn't really been injury prone since he hit the NFL. This season he had some nicks and some knacks, and it really bothered him. But now we come to a point where Brian Kelly, an outsider, a really good coach and a winner, looks at the quarterback room and says, hey, I don't know if we have our starter right now. And I don't know if we have a bridge guy that could get us safely to Walker Howard and the Walker Howard regime. Now, that is an opinion. But there are parts of me that wants to say this. It's not really an opinion. Here's why it's not really opinion, because, guys, actions speak louder than words. I do not believe that Dean Blevins went out there loosely and running a story like that from a guy who's been breaking stories and doing things with guys in Oklahoma City like Russell Westbrook. This isn't his first rodeo. An Emmy award-winning journalist. Oklahoma fans could bitch and moan and complain all they want to about this reporter, but what he says has to be talked about. I don't think he's shooting from the hip or shooting out of left field. I also don't think Caleb Williams is coming to LSU, just being dead honest. I think that ultimately he's going to find his way and make his way to USC. That's an opinion. I don't have a dog nor really any sourcing around that unless it's kind of coming from LSU. But I will tell you this. Why do you think for the last 5 weeks I've come on this show and I've said when Miles Brennan returned that I had heard and feel that LSU's still going to look around even if they don't bring in a transfer quarterback? We've talked about this on this show, Twitter Spaces, etc. Because when we take these blinders off about that quarterback room, guys, 2 former starters from LSU as at other SEC opponents. LSU has not been good at all at quarterback since Joe Burrow left. You could say Miles Brennan, the stats, I can give you 20 other games he hasn't played. 20 straight games, Miles Brennan, for LSU. He has not played in any of them. So with all of that being said, do I think Brian Kelly looks at that room and says, hey, Caleb Williams is a potential first overall pick? And we got weapons on the outside. Guys, you got Kayshon Boutte, Malik Neighbors, Jack Besh, Chris Hilton, Brian Thomas Jr., etc., Landon Ibieta. The list goes on and on. You get good offensive lineman pieces, and Miles Frazier, Traymon Shorts, Garrett Dellinger returns. Cam Wire returns. Anthony Bradford returns. Marlon Martinez returns. So you do have better pieces right now. Hell, even if Deion Smith returns, you have better pieces right now around Caleb Williams if he came to LSU or any quarterback than what is that currently at USC. That's not an opinion. Again, fact. So when I look at this and I look at Caleb Williams, It's a huge selling point. It's also a selling point to Brian Kelly when he looks at someone like this and says, hell yeah, I want him. Who wouldn't? But at the end of the day, my God's honest opinion is I don't believe he's coming. All right, let's get to a couple comments because, yeah, we had to cut out the Twitter feed. That's what was bogging us down. You go to too many you go to too many platforms and it bogs you down. Jack Davis says Miles Brennan will have a great job with Duck Dynasty or making his own show, the Outdoors Channel. Tyler Mann says, I just can't see us landing Caleb Williams. I don't either. I can't either. Lamar Williams says Brennan just might be the next Sean McVay. You crazy boy. Roche's Lawn and Landscape says there should be no negative comments about this staff by anyone going forward. They are executing, recruiting, building a staff at the highest level and that we've seen in a long time at LSU. I agree with that right now. Right now, that's for damn sure. Our good friend Ryan Williams over at the Ryan Williams over the Drake Williams law firm says we're missing the Drake Williams internet. He's true. He's telling the truth. He's 1,000% telling the truth. Yeah, it looks like we're much better now. We'll just have to stop going to Twitter. So I'm sorry for everybody that watches us on Twitter. Neil says it's fine. Okay. Joseph Richie says Gordon's going to get it done. I don't know, but here's another thing, and I think that Joseph brings up a good point. We talked about this on Twitter Spaces today at lunchtime when we held one for about 30 minutes, whatever it was. In the day of NIL, if a big LSU booster, gets a contact for Caleb Williams and talks to Brian Kelly, and Brian Kelly says, yeah, we want him, there's no telling what can happen. That's what makes this intriguing. That's what makes this funny. The old ways of recruiting are over with. Again, I've talked to people that cover USC. We had a former, an ESPN guy now that used to be on the RU Series Sports Network, and Jonathan Rifkin, getting the feeling around him and some things that he's saying. He feels, and a guy that's covered USC, that Caleb Williams is all USC. So I know that people at USC are saying that he's coming to USC. I've seen crazier things happen. I've seen Lincoln Riley walk to a podium and say, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to LSU. And you don't, it's not even 12 hours. Guys, it wasn't even 12 hours. It wasn't even 4 hours. And he was on his way to Los Angeles. Richard Menard sends us $5 via Super Chat on YouTube. Thank you very much, sir. Onions Stink on YouTube says, ask Blake, will you join Richie Roche's small group? What small group? I think that the staff is really good. Yeah, I agree with him. I don't think that there's really anything that you can go after Brian Kelly for right now. Some people are antsy about recruiting. Some people are antsy about some of the things they're doing in recruiting, but I think here's what I think. I think that all the staff was sitting together, finding out what they needed to do in recruiting and put their big board together. Guys, you didn't even have your full staff. You got to put things together. You got to get your recruiting staff to help you out. Now they're going to, they did some in-school visits. They'll be doing some in-home visits. Brian Kelly's not completely on the recruiting trail yet, but there's some opinions and rumors that he's going to be out there tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Buck on Facebook says Miles will be in the Heisman run. Watch. I don't really guys, he's got to get on the field first before we start talking about Heisman. Come on, man. CJ Cook says, hashtag ask Blake, I don't believe Caleb is coming, and I do want Miles to be healthy and prove himself. But if Caleb comes, then let the best man win. Well, the best man, you're not letting Caleb Williams come here and starting Miles Brennan. You're just not. Andy says Miles Brennan doesn't even make it into the discussion about Caleb Williams if he wants in. LSU is a top program in the SEC West, and there are a lot of things about LSU that could be very intriguing to him. I don't disagree. I do not disagree. Jonathan sends us some stars via Super Chat, or stars via Facebook. Thank you so much for doing that, sir. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Bryce Drury on Facebook says, we need a quarterback that actually wants to learn the playbook instead of hunting fish. Yeah. I'm not going to get too much on into that. But look, even, talking about recruiting Caleb Williams, I think that the staff, again, actions will always speak louder than words. I don't care what a coach goes to a podium. I don't care about an article that's written. I don't care about somebody's message on a message board. I don't care about what's posted on Tiger Droppings. I don't care about all that. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what anybody says. The fact is that if the actions, you have to follow what the actions tell you. So somebody asked me earlier today, and I'll just restate their question. A lot of people have been asking me today, Blake, what does reoffering mean? Well, Ed Orgeron was the one, and his staff was the one that offered a lot of these kids that are being offered again and reoffered by the Brian Kelly staff. Most kids want that reoffer, and you got to find. And when they mean by reoffer, you got to tell a kid where he stands and if he's got a position on your team. LSU's going to be fine, though. LSU's going to be fine. Peter says, let's make Ali Gay number 18. I'd give that to Jamar Jenkins. I'd give it to Jenkins all day long. All day long. The Nuss Bus on YouTube says, the ploy is coming from the USC camp. They mad we are portal champions, and they trolled the Oklahoma sources to draw attention for when he actually commits to USC and has until the 28th. Maybe, man. I don't know. I don't know. But it's something that we have to talk about. Caleb, people are asking me today, why are we even talking about Caleb Williams coming to LSU? He's not coming to LSU. Guys, we just saw 6 transfers that transferred to LSU get NIL deals. They weren't on campus a day and got NIL deals from Gordon McKernan. He's been all over the place. In the day of NIL, you have no idea what's going to happen. All right, let's get to our good friend Jacob Davis. We're going to go around the SEC. We're going to go to Arkansas. Kendall Briles. I'll let him tell the story a little bit more, but Kendall Briles, it looked like he had been offered from the University of Miami. He's staying at Arkansas. We're going to have to go against that offense. We're going to have to go against Arkansas next year. Let's talk to him about some former LSU players. We'll kick it around with him about Dwight McGlothern and others. And it's a really good piece to have with Jacob Davis because of the ties that's going on not only in recruiting, but in the SEC West. So let's do this. Let's get to a very, very quick break, and then we'll get to him. None better than our good friends. We just talked about him. The Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com, and our good friend Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape. Guys, if you've been affected by Hurricane Ida, get in touch with the Drake Williams Law Firm today. Is the insurance company giving you the runaround? Let the Drake Williams Law Firm give you that free consultation if you mention AYS, so they can take a look at everything that you have going on. There's nothing wrong with picking up the phone and giving them a call and asking if there's something that they can do. 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600. That's the Drake Williams Law Firm. drakewilliamslawfirm.com. And my good friend Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. 225-937-7220. Guys, we had Richie Roche over at our house a couple of weeks ago. We wanted to do some landscaping around the home. He's got this digital layout. We wanted this and this spot, this and that spot, and he was able to draw it and architect, and we could see our home and what he's going to do to our home before he ever does anything. Gives us a price. He's really good at what he does. You want outdoor kitchen spaces. You want your lawn mowed. Anything. Now, it's going to be freezing here in the South, but maybe you want him to come out there and do you an outdoor patio space. It's Richie Roche, Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. Tell him Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. All right, we got our good friend Jacob Davis joining us. Jacob, what's going on, man? I've been meaning to have you on, man. It's just been crazy with a lot of things going on. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Blake, I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me on too. I've been wanting to have you on the pod too. I'm getting back in with the Hog Talk podcast too. So fun things going on around my world. It's crazy times, man. Just had her baby, 3 months old. She's
Congratulations.
my man.
Awesome.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Fatherhood's grand, I tell you.
Well, there's a 2-year-old that's more than likely going to run in here, during the show at some point. So just distract him, and we'll continue to go. But it is
Sounds
awesome. Jacob, I want to get to this. You've been all over this Kendall Browse story. Look, Brett McMurphy reported that there was an offer. You came back right after and said that your sources had been telling you that Kendall Browse was not leaving Arkansas. Look, I know how this all goes down, but man, just take us through what's been happening over the last 72 hours with Kendall Browse, Arkansas, and Miami.
Yeah, I mean, it really goes on past the 24 hours. This has been going on since December 23rd, at least. That's when my timeline really started. So, as far as the last 24 hours, I heard, okay, he's staying at Arkansas, and then Mario Cristobal came back and gave a heck of an offer. I mean, a offer that Kendall had to just absolutely refuse, and he did, which is a surprise to me. But that was really something that I was surprised by. As far as I thought he was going to leave. I thought he had a foot out the door and he was going to leave. And this morning about 7 o'clock, I had received a text from one of my guys that was really close to Kendall Brow's situation. He said Kendall's staying. After Mario came back, Sam and KB got together, had a little meeting, and he went back to Mario. From what I understood, he went back to Mario. Mario gave him a last ditch effort, and he said no. So I don't know how much money. I don't know what the contract is going to be at Arkansas right now. But from what I understood, Miami was trying to give him a heck of a deal, trying to make him maybe the highest paid coordinator or the highest paid offensive coordinator in all of college football.
So, which would then, Jacob, entail that Arkansas obviously was doing things behind the scenes. Look, Sam Pittman and Hunter Yurchek were doing it with Barry Odom just a season ago, and it now looks like Kendall Briles is a little bit of the same. Jacob, do you think that Arkansas and Hunter Yurchek are making a statement with doing this? With keeping Kendall Briles? I mean, how big of a statement is this to not only keep Barry Odom when he was so highly touted a season ago, but now to keep Kendall Briles? And look, people fear Kendall. Let's just call it what it is. They don't want to see him on a given Saturday. But how big of a win, not just for Sam Pittman, but how big of a win, in your opinion, is this for Arkansas?
Oh, it's huge for Arkansas. I mean, Arkansas is set. I don't know what kind of season they're going to have in 2022, but this is the second big victory for this Arkansas football team this off season. And I think the big win is how they finished the season with the bowl win, and then they are keeping Kendall Briles, they're keeping Barry Odom, keeping the staff together intact for now. Going into next season's huge because I think Arkansas is set. I don't know if they're going to win a championship, but I think they can compete. I think they could be the Ole Miss of 2021. I think they can have a similar season, and they give me a reason to think that way because, I mean, yeah, you can look at it both ways. Arkansas could have been 5-7, 6-6, and they were a heck of a whole lot closer to 11-2. I mean, if the
Right.
ball bounces the right way. So, but yeah, this Kendall Briles victory is huge. Keeping him at this point is great because you want to have that continuity on this team. This roster is set, and I think I forgot your second part of that question. I apologize.
No,
But
it's good. Basically, just I mean, and I'll just add on to it from a fan perspective. I mean, what are the fans? I mean, I'm assuming it's something that they are really rallying behind since the last couple of years. I mean, look, Sam Pittman and that staff has really turned it around. I guess their reaction is pretty high praise for being able to do that.
oh yeah, keeping them. Hunter Yurchek. Okay, I remember now. What I was going to say was Hunter Yurchek. He said he does not want money to be an issue for a coach wanting to leave the University of Arkansas, and he's showing that. Hunter Yurchek is making a focus. He's serious about winning, He's making it serious about winning, and that's on every sport. I mean, he's got every sport, top-notch coaches, and he wants Arkansas to be a destination job. And the appeal of Miami, I've never been there, but I've seen pictures. Man, if I had money, if I had, I would have absolutely ran $2 million and beachfront property. Heck yeah, man! I would have absolutely taken and run with it. But yeah, it makes a statement there saying, okay, 100-year checks, and Sam Pittman's serious about this thing blowing up, and it obviously shows that Kendall has something invested in this team that wasn't that gave him a reason to want to stay, I believe.
Right. So, and look, I think that they could do some good things. I think Sam Pittman, Cody Kennedy, Kendall Browse, really good coaches. It's going to be really interesting to see what the guys that they have returning, what they'll do into 2022. But we won't get to that really too in depth tonight just because we got so much further to go. But I do want to talk to you about this LSU Arkansas flip flop, the trades that LSU and Arkansas really are doing. Arkansas gets Landon Jackson from LSU and Dwight McGlothern, and then LSU gets obviously Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché. Very quickly, and then we'll go to Dwight McGlothern and Landon Jackson. To the LSU fans, what are they getting in guys like Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché?
Greg Brooks is a guy that's quick, has some good hands. He's had a couple of interceptions, a guy that can outrun offenses on the way back down the field for pick sixes or long interception returns. A guy that plays the nickelback position really well. He knows his role, and he's a good team player. As far as Fouché goes, he's a guy that has a lot of dog in him. I love watching Fouché play. Barry Odom, what I love watching him do is when he would play that more of a 3-2-6 model of defense, he would always have an extra safety come down near the line of scrimmage. And Fouché had a lot of dog in him. He had quite a few tackles for a loss this season and a couple of important plays, especially in the bowl game against Penn State. We think about Texas A&M and the Texas games where Fouché was probably 3 or 4 yards away from Bijan Robinson on just some kind of end-around sweep. And Fouché jumped from 3 yards away to make a tackle on Bijan Robinson over there at Texas. I mean, the guy's super athletic. He wants it. And he wants to be successful. And I don't blame the guy. I mean, for wanting to leave and go back home and put it on a show for his state.
Right. Well, and look, now that you flip that and then you go to Landon Jackson and Dwight McGlothern, from the outside looking in, what are your thoughts about Dwight McGlothern, who quite honestly has been LSU's best corner, some believe, over the last 2 years with the injury of Eli Ricks and Derek Stingley. Is this one of the bigger corners or best corners that that Arkansas has gotten in the portal or in recruiting over the last couple of years because of the prowess that Dwight has right now in the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember though, Arkansas was in on Dwight McGlothern for a while. I mean, they really were. But getting him is a big win out of the portal. This is one of the best transferred defenders that, in my memory, that we've ever gotten. I mean, I don't remember Arkansas ever having this much success in the portal with big name guys like Landon Jackson and Dwight. I think he's going to come in and start right away. Obviously, because they lose Monteric Brown out of from Arkansas in that secondary, who was a heck of a corner for us. I feel like I anticipate him to be a very solid player for Arkansas next season.
Speaking on both of those guys coming on defense, there were some guys kind of crazy, and I get maybe some of the Louisiana guys coming back. But Jacob, because I know the LSU issues and why the guys are going in the portal, why are some of the guys leaving on that defense from Arkansas and going to the portal? It was kind of an interesting thought of why a lot of those DBs left. Is there something to read into there, or is there or we from the outside looking in looking too much into it?
I think a lot of it, I mean, there's a lot of freak out from Arkansas fans and the Arkansas side of it because you see so many defensive backs leave at one time. They're like, you think, oh, it has to be something about the coaches. Or, I mean, and it could be that the nature of college football and what have
Right.
you done for me lately? There's always certain things, and we saw it today with the transfer of Andrew Parker, who surprised me because I thought he would be a contributor on this defense for this year. The transfer portal is just a crazy thing in college athletics, and I love it. I love just the cutthroat nature of what the transfer portal brings to college football, and seeing so many guys leave, and I've heard so many different things that, oh man, it was Sam Carter, the defensive back coach, that's why they left, or oh, it had to be the NIL, it has to be NIL for the reason these guys are leaving. I don't think it's all NIL. It's absolutely not all NIL. Kids want to have a chance to go play and go star and ball out, and they want to be an important member of a team. You've played, you know,
Right.
you know how it feels to have all the attention and stuff. And I think kids want to be a focus, and that's just my thought as far as the transfer portal goes. But Sam Carter, they said, oh, he was a hard coach, he was strict, he was just too hard on him. But even some of the players came out and said, hey, that's really not what it was.
Right. Uh-oh. Jacob, I think we lost you there, brother. Yep, Jacob, I think we lost you there. I'm going to let Jacob out, and then we'll let him back in. Jacob, if you can hear me, you kind of froze up there on us. We'll pick it back up with Jacob. Get to a couple of these comments. I saw Jimmy Jones say to us, he says, hashtag ask y'all, is it too early to talk about Arkansas and LSU baseball? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm really wondering if this cold weather's bringing some bad juju on our stream. Like I really, really wonder. I really do wonder, but we're trying. We're giving it hell. The Saint says, I'm super pumped on YouTube. I'm super pumped about where this program is going. I am too. Jacob Cole, we'll leave this one for Jacob Davis when he returns. I think we might got him back. Jacob, it looks like we got you back, bud.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Okay, awesome. So kind of just picking back up when we're off, we had some question, man. They were asking if it's too early to talk about baseball season, but I'll get one more football question in before we talk about some baseball. Drew Sanders committing to Arkansas. Look, bro, I got to be honest, did not see that coming. I just didn't, for whatever reason, call me naive. Maybe I just wasn't following it close enough. What is Sam Pittman really doing in recruiting? Like, what is he hands-on in recruiting, or is he letting his coordinators and position coaches doing it, or has he been hands-on with guys like Drew Sanders and bring them into Arkansas?
So I think it's a whole team effort myself. The ability for this coaching staff, Sam Pittman didn't want a assistant on this staff. If you didn't put a primary focus on recruiting, he didn't want you to stick around. And you saw that last season when he sent some guys packing and brought some new blood in. He has guys that are serious about recruiting, serious about Arkansas, and guys that want to be here and recruit guys to this university. Drew Sanders surprised me too. I know he came and made Arkansas his first visit, which really surprised me. But the fact that Oklahoma and Texas couldn't really meet, because the guy was, he lives like 2 hours away from Norman, Oklahoma.
Right.
Obviously, I thought, yeah, he's a shoo-in. Or going home to Texas. I mean, and being a starting linebacker there, the guy has the goods. It really surprised me, and it shows me that Arkansas's the way Arkansas's playing, the way this program is being rebuilt, and kids are starting to take notice of it, and it's making it to the point where, okay, maybe Arkansas's not getting the 5 stars or the highly ranked top 10 recruiting classes, but you can get those guys that are out of the transfer portal that can come in and play right away too. And I think it's a good blend of all that. And I think Sam Pittman is making a hands-on approach too when it does come to recruiting to to a place where, okay, people even outside the state are starting to pay attention. Big time transfers are starting to pay attention. We want to go play for that guy because everybody loves Sam Pittman, from what I've heard.
Well, and what's crazy is that, I think that the SEC and the SEC fans are starting to pay more attention, right? Like, you landed Dwight McGlothern, you landed Drew Sanders, like, oh shit, Kendall Brown stays. I think from a national standpoint, Jacob, and just again, my opinion, people are going to start looking at Arkansas a little bit differently than they have in the past, and it's good to have that competition inside the SEC West because it's so deep. But I have made this statement before. The SEC West in football, in my opinion, or the SEC, is not as deep in football as it is in baseball. So I do want to ask you a baseball question here before we get out of here. What do you think, man? I mean, look, you got 7 teams or 6 teams in the top 10. The 4th best SEC West team is LSU, and they're ranked number 8th. I mean, this is kind of like a dog-eat-dog world in the SEC when it comes to baseball, but what are you expecting for Arkansas this year as they're ranked number 1 in the national polls?
Yeah, so it's either Omaha or bust, right? Or at least super regionals are bust. I mean, Arkansas is going to be deep. They have some good transfers coming in. They've got some stud freshmen coming in. And this is what's crazy is Dave Van Horn has recruited well every single year. And he's got guys that are just studs that are just riding the pine because you can only put, 10 guys out there on the field at one time.
Right.
But he's got to replace a lot of production. You can't replace a guy like Kevin Cox overnight. You can't replace a guy like Peyton Pallette who will miss the season, who's probably going to be your Friday night stud. Found out he had to have Tommy John this morning. So
crazy.
They're going to be missing him this season. So what are you going to be as far as what goes on the mound? You have a lot of unsung heroes on the mound starting this year. Arkansas is going to have to figure out what they have there. But obviously, outside of pitching, Arkansas has some pretty good. They're pretty deep at every single position. You have obviously you have not Benny Baseball, but Bob Moore. You have Jalen Battles. Man, you have so many good players that are on this team. I don't have the roster in front of me or the names in front of me. Just going off straight memory.
Right.
But they have some pieces on this team that I think they could repeat as SEC champions again. Is it going to be regular season? Is it going to be the tournament? But, I mean, obviously, you look into years past, there's some Arkansas can finish 3rd or 4th in the West and still get to Omaha. I mean, that's just how deep, like you said, the SEC is in baseball, and especially the SEC West. There's a legit LSU's going to be good, Tennessee's going to be good, Ole Miss, you got Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. You have so many good teams in this league besides Arkansas. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but I see Arkansas winning some games this year.
Absolutely. Last one, and I'll get you out of here. Do you think that Dave Van Horn and Tony Vitello would get in a MMA fighting match in a UFC and we do a pay-per-view to see what happens? They've had some very choice words. Would you pay $69.99 to watch Dave Van Horn and Tony Vitello go into it in an MMA cage?
Man, look, Tony Vitello, man, I would pay money for that. That guy would be kissing the feet of Dave Van Horn. Oh, man. Dave Van Horn, now he is no butt kisser at all, man. He will lay the smack down on somebody. I mean, he would absolutely manhandle Tony Vitello in a cage match.
Well, I would pay the $69.99 and I'd get a bottle of scotch and start watching it.
Oh, yeah, it would be fun.
Jacob, you've been awesome, man. I know you talked about the Hog Talk podcast. Great to have you back on there. But tell everybody where they can catch all your stuff and all and everything that you're doing.
Yeah, man. So I'm the managing editor at Arkansas Fight, which you can find all our content at www.arkansasfight.com. You can also find a weekly podcast at the Hog Talk. That's HAWG, Hog Talk. And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Jacob Scott Davis. And, I mean, you can follow me. You can not follow me. It's your choice.
No, y'all need to go follow because my man's breaking news, major news across the SEC, especially the SECs. Thank you, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, man. See ya.
That is our good friend Jacob Davis. Absolutely awesome. Glad to hear him and what he talked about with Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché. And look, I'd pay the $69.99 to see Tony Vitello get his ass rocked. I'm just going to be honest. I'd watch Tony Vitello get rocked, bro. The Saint on YouTube gives us shot us $19.99 via Super Chat. Goodness gracious. The Saint, thank you. Thank you. Every time you guys send us stars and Super Chats, we certainly appreciate when y'all do that. We certainly appreciate it. All right. Do us a favor, hit the like and share. We'll go a little bit longer than normal because we had the issues on the to start the show. So fire in your questions, hashtag Ask Blake. We'll get to all of them. So fire them in. We'll get into them. But I do want to talk about very quickly my good friend Tracy from the New Orleans Bourbon Fest. It's going to be on March 23rd through March 26th of this year in New Orleans. Go to their website, NewOrleansBourbonFest.com. Guys, I will be there and going to the event and the festival on March 26th, God willing. It's not moved around due to COVID. But go there. I did, when I did my bachelor party, I went to the New Orleans Bourbon Fest. It was absolutely fantastic. Get great drinks, have good friends, fantastic food. Get your tickets today. Again, I'll be there on March 26th. That's the New Orleans Bourbon Fest, NewOrleansBourbonFest.com. So let's get into it. Fire in your questions. Like I said, we'll go a little bit longer due to the issues we had to start the show. But hit the like and share. We greatly appreciate it. Sly's Meat Rider on YouTube. That's a pause. But Slice says Deion Smith back. Well, it looks like he's back for the current moment. Whether or not he's back for good, I don't know that. If you had to ask me, Blake, put all of your money on the line if you believe Deion Smith is coming back, I'd have to say no. But I could be wrong there. I just don't. I don't know how good I feel about that. Things can change. Keishon Boutte getting in his ear, that can change. That could do some good things. So we'll see. Jerry Zimmerman says, what a nice fella. Can't wait to whoop up on some hogs. Yeah, I like Jacob, man. You look, and he got ripped alive for his I say ripped alive, but he got ripped for saying that Kendall Browse wasn't leaving. People were telling him he was wrong and nana boo boo. Joke's on you. Skipper Tally says, hashtag Ask Blake, where's the man been? Well, his little cousin, Wyatt, had his, I think, 6th or 7th birthday, and it's his birthday today, and they went over there, and they're doing a party like tomorrow that we'll be all going to and whatnot. So they went over there to eat pizza and stuff like that. Richard Menard says, Spaces tonight. I think my good buddy Harold is going to be doing a Twitter Spaces tonight, and once he does that, I'll be joining them. So it'll be right after the show. I'll be joining him on his Twitter Spaces, but I'm not hosting another one. Justin Turner says Jordy Collada mentioning something today about Clemson going after Will Wade. Surely he's not serious. I don't know that. I wouldn't be, there's some wrong things that they've even talked about Will Wade and an extension, so meaning this has been going on since the summer. We'll see how that plays out. Brandon on YouTube says, hashtag Ask Blake, where are you at percentage-wise on Caleb? I'd say if I had to put a percentage of it, just so I'd never say never, I'd say 5%. Never say never, man. But I do not trust at all him coming to LSU. Not at all. So whatever you say or want to say about it, I'm not confident in it. I don't think that he comes. But again, if Gordon McKernan runs out or whoever runs out $1 million for Caleb Williams to come to LSU, how much does that change things? Especially, and look, here's what people are going to tell you too, that Jamar Cain, former defensive line coach, reached out to Caleb Williams just to talk to him and gauge his interest and all this kind of other stuff. When it comes to that kind of player at that position, when you're getting Miles Brennan back, you're not just reaching out just to get a feel for him. You're reaching out with Brian Kelly knowing. There's some other things that I hear that they told Caleb Williams, but we'll see. Pooh Bear says on YouTube, hashtag ask Blake, with the improvement on the staff, what position group do you think is the biggest improvement? Maybe offensive line, Pooh, but I'm going to take that out just because people will say I'm biased. I do think I will say I think it's going to be defensive line. I think that I could make the argument, and I said this a couple days ago, I believe too, and I think I said it last Saturday, but just to reemphasize, I think that I could win the debate and the argument that LSU has, from a talent perspective, the best defensive line, not only in the SEC returning, but the best D line in the country returning. When you return B.J. Ojolari, Jaquelin Roy, Jacobian Guillory, Mason Smith, you got guys that are very talented like Bryce Langston. What can Quincy Wiggins do? Ali Gay returns. Does Ali Gay, who rotates in for Ali Gay? What do they do with Ali Gay? Do they stand him up on the edge? What do they do with him? So depending, Pooh Bear, what they do, really and truly, just depending on what they do and what they want to do up front, we'll see. But I still think that I can make that argument. And look, Jamar Cain coached and recruited a defensive line at Oklahoma that was third in the nation in sacks. They had never done that really over the last 8 to 10 years, even under Bob Stoops and or Lincoln Riley. They hired Jamar Cain and he recruits those guys in, and you saw what happened. So I would say that. Now, we saw how better LSU's defense got once the scheme changed. We saw that the defensive linemen looked better after the scheme changed. Sacks went up. Tackles for loss went up. Rushing yards for the opponent went down, a.k.a. Alabama, a.k.a. Arkansas, a.k.a. Texas A&M. So they've shown that they got the talent. You just got to put them in the right position to be able to use that talent. I think that Matt House does. And I think that LSU's defensive line is a big-time catalyst moving forward. Michael on YouTube sends us $3 via Super Chat. Thank you so much, sir. He says, do you think that the refs are all out to get Will Wade? Hell yeah, I do. Hell yeah, I do. And not only do I think that, I think that Will Wade has that feeling his damn self. Because he talked about in the postgame, I got to stick up for my guys when stuff like this happens. What do you mean when stuff like this happens? And then he says he's sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of what? So you're damn right I think he's pissed off. And so, yeah, I do think he's upset with it. I very much so. And, guys, how wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't he be? I mean, at some point, you got to make the determination or just think about, it's not his guys that are it's not their fault. It's not their fault. Rob says Jordy's probably trying to get Will Wade a raise. Come on, y'all already know. Seth says Oklahoma State or Ohio State, but I know he's talking about Oklahoma State DB update. Starting to see some good things on it. He's talking about DB Jarek Bernard, the former Shreveport native. Look, I'm hearing that it's coming down to Ohio State and LSU at this point. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, his defensive DC went to Ohio State. So does he follow his guy? We'll go from there. we'll go from there. Shane Portobello says, "What's Harold's Twitter handle?" I don't know. Let me see. It's Go LSUH. That's his Twitter handle. So we'll be doing spaces right at the end of the show. It's Go GAUX LSUH, and we'll be on Twitter Spaces. And if you haven't experienced, you should. It's really awesome. I will go about another 5-10 minutes, and then we'll get out of here. Jacob Cole says, #Ask Blake, how many more high school recruits do you think that we get? And how many spots should we say for spring spots are filling quickly? I really think that that's up to the preference of Brian Kelly. Come on, buddy. And what he wants to do. We haven't seen what he wants to do yet. Hiya! They've been missing you, bud. Oh, my goodness, you smell so good. Oh, you smell so good. What you got there? What's this? Drill. That's right. What do you do with a drill? You don't hit daddy in the face with it. That's for dang sure. Okay, hold on. Shh. Tell him, hey. Say, hey. Get the big catch him up. Tell him, hey. Say, hey. Say, hey. You got to say it. All right. You have a good time at Gigi's? Bryce says, so you're saying there's a chance. Anything's a chance in NIL, baby. Cooter Brown on Facebook says, any word on Jacoby Matthews and where he's leaning? Well, he's going to Florida this weekend. Look, I don't really know how to feel about him at this point. I really don't know how to feel about it at this point. We'll see. Rick says, big cameo. Hey, Ben. Ben, they're waving at you, buddy. Wave back. Fixing your car, bowl? You fixing your car, bowl? Skipper says, there's Ben. There's the man. Dude, they love you more than they love me. Yeah. All right. Just hold off on the drill real quickly, and then we'll get out of here. Pooh Bear says, give me that binky ball. 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 All right, let's get to a couple more, and then we'll get out of here. Chris says, hi, Ben. Let's get to a couple. Save no spots. I agree with Pooh Bear there. I don't know how many spots I would save. And the Saint says, #Ask Blake, will the defense blitz more under the new DC Matt House? They sure as hell did. When he was at Kentucky. So you'll give him that there, and we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, we'll see y'all Saturday morning. We'll be on Twitter Spaces following this. Give me about 5 or 10 minutes to reset and get things going. Got to fix the feed and all this kind of stuff, and then we'll get rolling. Ben, you want to tell him hold on one second. You want to tell him bye-bye? Tell him bye-bye. Say bye. Say see you later. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. See you later, alligator. Hey, you know what we need to give them before you leave? LSU. 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 You want Bakey more? My Bakey. All right, guys. We'll see y'all again. We'll see y'all again Saturday. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.